So I've decided to go to see Leslie at the Agro Domes for no real particular reason. So we need to find our last bits of food reserves. So one thing I think is quite fun is playing this is that... Oh, hold on a minute. The researchers sometimes lived in this dormitory during their shifts since they need to tend to the plant production so closely. Privacy was important, so living quarters were equipped with password locks. Okay, usually numeric. Okay, so we need to find all the numbers. But yeah, it's funny that we played the Turing test, where obviously our AI was a bit dodgy. Oh, hello. And, it's like Wayward Pines. And now we've got an AI who's falling in love with us. Although that said, I think Tom in the Turing test maybe did have kind of affection for Ava, but perhaps just not in the same way that Benedict has here. Also, isn't it funny that we've got Tom and Benedict? Oh well. Is she back yet? No, she will be shift-ended. Any luck? Okay, damn it, Ashley, what are we gonna do? Okay, so that works. Any more recording devices in here? Genetically modified GM ferns, eh? Okay. Remember that when that was a thing, when everyone was all up in arms about the idea of GM crops? Doesn't feel like it is so much anymore. Now it's all about, I don't know, organic stuff. What does organic even mean, apart from a marketing tool and a reason to charge more money? So it has been modified, but it's not quite successful. But getting there. It's now lonely and terrifying. It's home. I mean, you just have to deal with what's in front of you. So we need a password for that. We need a password for that. No real clues just yet. Imagine, yeah, password. No. Plant, do you know the password? Ooh. It should be dead considering the exposure to the vines, but we can't use it. Everything is dead. Everybody's... Oh, to the toilets. I bet you somebody scrawled some passwords on the toilet door. Ooh, substantial. It's a good thing to keep your suit on at all times. Well, I don't think we've ever seen an occasion where my suit has come off. Stinky toilet smell. Toiletry package. Soaps, disinfectants and creams. This one's spilled over. That could be tracked. This needs to be batch number 12. Okay. So people, remember 12. The exposure is minimal. So 12 is somebody who really likes the toilet. Number 12. Monster plant. So they've invaded the Grow Domes. The toxin has ruined everything. I don't really understand. I mean, was there really no other planet that we could populate that wasn't full of toxin and acid rain and inability to farm and stuff? I mean, yeah, are you sure there was nothing else left? Matko Bradley, things are dire here. We know now that Ashley was the one who convinced Ms. Bharadwaj to change direction in our attempts to deal with the toxin, but I think she was wrong. Many of us do. We made some breakthroughs, yes, but Ashley's techniques mean our research is sloppy and we aren't seeing results. I guess because it's speeding up. Ms. Bharadwaj attempts to lead us, but even I can tell she regrets giving control to Ashley. I just hope it's not too late. Well, it's kind of like, Star Trek with Genesis and Kirk's son, where he chose the speedy way to complete the Genesis project, but it was not so. See if there are any important numbers now. I've only found the number 12. So in the kitchen now. Old-fashioned and physical whiteboard that the colonists used to keep track of chores. Days since working the food processor, 24. So we've got 12 and 24. 12 and 24. Remember that, people. 12 and 24. The food processor has been heavily damaged and is in disrepair, so they wouldn't have been able to have their tea Earl Grey hot. Which I think is the real tragedy here. The shared pantry has been thoroughly picked through and used up. By the looks of it, even scraps of flammable material were used to make a crude fire. Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. I'm guessing all the meat, the food here was vegetables. Probably don't want to try and bring meat up through the atmosphere. So we've got 12 and 24. Is that going to be enough? Okay, let's do it. So we can actually access this now. 12, 24, 24, 12, 24, 12. There we go. So this is Ms. Hainsworth's room. Bit leaky. A physical reproduction of a photo of her parents. Oh dear, keep trying. So maybe that's a product of why she's such an stiff upper lip kind of lady. Thought I cracked it twice. Time constraints makes checks difficult. Team is slowing me down. Baradouage looks like she regrets our agreement, but she's wrong. She's always been wrong, stupid woman. She's locked herself in her quarters for weeks, rarely comes out. What is she doing in there? She really has passed the torch. We'll be better off for it. Now, I'm guessing that we're going to find Leslie in her quarters. I imagine she's probably locked herself away. So her notes. This team needs me. We have never been closer to solving this problem. We've also never been so effective. Baradouage's bleeding heart management was such a waste all these years. We could have achieved so much more than we did. Even loser Zurakowski has put in great work when he hasn't been pining over Bradley. Just this week, he isolated 33 potential strains. Baradouage couldn't believe it. 33 is double what he was doing under her. Okay, so could 33 be a number? So we're in Mr. Jaeger's quarters, which appear to be taken over by flowers. Lovely flowers. A few new video game system. Must have enjoyed these kind of distractions. It's long dead. Didn't change the batteries. Try to beat my score, buddy. You'll see it at the very top. Plus 66. Okay, maybe 33 plus 66? Maybe that's the clue to Leslie's quarters. So these are different vines, different flowers. So maybe this was his own personal experiments. So he kept a diary. AH is running herself, so that's Ashley, is running herself ragged. I worry for her, but I worry for all of us. We're tired and no closer to a cure. The boss is holed up in her quarters doing God knows what. Things have gotten out of control. Don't know if we'll ever recover. Should I? Okay, so he's doubting whether or not he should have believed in Ashley. So the password to this one was 3366. Something is not right. Well, the fact that there's bodies on the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. So we have discovered Zurakowski and Bradley. So they appear to have been twined in some fashion of their death. It appears that they are holding hands. And they've carved something on the floor. The number is 46 and 92. They starved to death in the room. Well, it's nice that their last thing to do was to give me the password to Leslie's room. I mean, sure, that makes sense. Bodies of geneticists. Well, I guess we can... There's nothing else here, so let's bust into Leslie's room. 4692, and we are in. Why they know it, I have no idea. So she was busy in here, and her corpse appears to be in the top right there. I'd say she actually found the cure. So there's little plant specimens. She resorted to simpler techniques to keep her research going. I don't know, I bet you she actually found the real cure. So work continues as Ashley leads the team. Progress is slow. I feel betrayed, but worse, I feel ashamed. That was my team, and I let Ashley persuade me. I know now more than ever she was wrong, but it's too late. Florent is gone and Arlo too. 6 months of work and only glimmers of progress. Ashley has not returned from the research dome. Dell and Matsuko continue with their research. Everyone is gone now. It's just me. I don't know how long it is since I've eaten, but I'm on the right track. My methods are slower, but they're better. It's clear to me I should have trusted myself. The team is gone because of me. Maybe everyone is. I've put everything into this new specimen. The answer seems so obvious now. The flowers. The flowers that grew after the toxins took over. We assumed they were part of the vines and part of the disease. But they weren't. They were their own little parasite, their own reaction. Nature finding that balance again, but nature wasn't quick enough to save us. This specimen will take more days to mature. Before I know, I may not even make it to then, but at least I know I tried. So it looks like she finally, believed in herself and found the cure. So here we go. I guess this is Leslie over here. Yep, so this is Leslie over here. The state of the remains indicates she was alive long after the colonists died. Wow, okay, so she lived for quite a long time. But, her sacrifice may be able to save us. Yeah, so she succeeded where everyone else failed. And yep, there we go. There's the specimen of a toxin-free food supply. Well, thanks, I guess. So it's interesting that this kind of ties in with the Turing test of the whole idea of symbiosis of, one thing spawning a bad thing and the other thing, counteracting it. Nature really does find a way. Well, here we go. I am the bearer of bad news once again. So she appears she's fixed everything. I found you, I guess. We knew this was coming, and there's no point in hiding the details. But, you've found a cure. I'm rather unsettled by all of this. I don't know what to expect. But to finally hear it, it's very surreal, if you understand me. You said you found me in my quarters within the Habitat Centre, and with some of the others, we must have known things were going to end if we retreated there. It all sounds very sad, having holed up like that. But there's more to it. Yes, Leslie, you did a good. So you finally did it. I finally turned it around, and that means my ship will be okay. Well, I'll certainly be able to eat, which to me, the Malaysian inside me is like, that's very important. In our initial tests, those flowers were so problematic, they were almost poisonous to us, and we assumed they were part of the issue. But these notes make so much sense. Now that the other me has spelled it out, I can help you configure the ship's systems to keep you safe. Now we can set the filters to understand what's actually harmful and what isn't. And since the plant you found is resistant to the vines, you can grow it. And so we can just, eat flowers? Flowers are tasty, I guess. I can run simulations here to test maximum efficiency and viability in different mediums, but you'll have to harvest material from the food processors for now. That means your ship can run a good long while with a food supply. Well, sounds good to me. This is wonderful. The work we did at those domes, it won't be for nothing, and you can take the reports home so others will know. I think that's the thing as well. There is something salvageable out of all this tragedy and death. Is that, people are going to be able to use this, hopefully, if I get home. So at least she's gonna be happy then. That little plant survived. It wasn't affected by the toxins. So many variables, and it came down to a single plant. We are so fortunate that the IA sent you back there. Who knows how long that plant would have survived if you waited any longer? Nature is remarkable, and even all the way out here, that's something that's gone on. We were able to find out something that worked. It gives me hope for the future. Even when life is so fragile, there is always the way. See, this is the kind of hopeful message I like. There is always a way. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you get there in the end. So there we go, just reaffirming that you did it. When the vines began invading the domes, we weren't sure if we were dealing with a local species or a mutation. So the vines killed everything. And I guess Ashley didn't really help with the crew. That kind of goes into the message of, sometimes you gotta stop listening to what other people think about you and what they say about you. Yeah, Leslie needed to believe in himself a little bit more. I think you did great. You were in a very difficult situation. You had a very toxic staff around you, staff member, who probably you weren't able to deal with. But, you found your own way to deal with it and you found the solution. So is there anything else we want to go over? Matsuko and Dale. Dale finally had the courage to approach Natsuko. I can imagine other Leslie didn't notice what was going on. And, you were trying to save the world, really. Isn't finding of some kind of love a great thing? I think so. Of course I think so. Of course I was always going to say I think so. Everybody needs a bit of love. All you need is love. Let's talk about the ship. Okay, so how are you going to deal with my ship? It has a portable version of the food processor, so it has this little replicator. Even if you have to be induced into space sleep, you have a working processor to keep me nourished. You can just make food from nothing. Okay? No, I think that's a typo. You can't make food from nothing. But now we are able to grow edible proteins. So we can create the basic elements. I can't guarantee that you won't be hungry a lot. Well, that's me pretty much 95% of the time. But I will be able to be alive. Again, pretty much me 95% of the time. In this simulated place, I can configure seeds, growing conditions, and other factors and run lifetime models very quickly. I've been using it much like the other me was running old-fashioned experiments to try and narrow down viable plants for processing. But with the new information that you gave me, I know what to look for and what to change. So now that I can focus on maximizing yield and all that. Without that knowledge, who knows how long it would have taken me to figure out, if ever, even in here. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye. So, yeah, thank you, and I'm glad that me telling the truth paid off. So, until the next time, farewell. Right, so a little update from Benedict. He has found a transmission coming from the central hub of the relay. So I guess Winnie was trying to send out a transmission. So we're going to go and see if we can fix a distress signal. Okay, so it's all bollocks and we need to go upstairs. So Benedict gave me a little update and said that basically he's getting some troubling readings from the core. So it looks like this planet might be set to blow soon. Inspect cable column. So they were hot wiring. So Winnie has probably rewired the thing. So let's go see. Imagine we'll have to come back down there and go to the maintenance hatch. Examine pulley system. Makeshift pulley system. Someone has been trying to move heavy objects from this to the next floor. Well, it looks like I can't get up to the top room, but hopefully this is high enough. Hello, inspect workstation. So stations are dead. Completely destroyed by exposure. Oh wait, there's a way for us to climb up. Easy. The exposed data conduit is connected to the security system. Yes, we will break the cable, because I don't think you'll let me do otherwise. The drone has had its components removed. So I guess they've been using that. So we've disrupted the security system, so I guess I can get through some... Okay. I've had 3 so far. Okay. Well, I guess we've got to figure that one out. Okay, so the shift room was unlocked, I guess, from the security stuff. There's a map made over pages from an old book. It indicates that there are 3 buildings. I'm assuming they're buildings going by the web of lines. The title has been written Castles. I wonder what that means. 3 castles? Is that the password? Castles in the sky? Okay, so the story continues again. Paula had once again begun to settle into her castle, the same one. The routine of survival kept the dark out of her thoughts. But as her castle began to creak and buckle around her, just as the one before, and the one before that had, she felt it again beside her. If only you had reached out. If only you had done more than just listen on your little radio. You don't know what you're talking about. There was no one to reach out to, no one safe anyway, and that's why I'm here. You're going to die here. She seemed to wait a very long time before speaking again. I know. And there's nothing you can do about it. I know. And that is the last page in the book. That is indeed a sad story. But one that I imagine will have a happy ending because her work will have saved us. And that's the important thing here, right? Right, so I think the password is castles. Winnie's equivalent of the Mind Palace. So we're in the security room. Let's see what's in this bit here. This is where the signal is coming from, possibly. So these terminals are the source of the signal. They've been manually networked in a sophisticated array as to boost their processing power. So it's a distress signal. Someone beat us to the punch. But the signal is different. It's clever. What is it? They were trying to send a signal to nearby shipping traffic. This array is much more complex and goes one better. It's actually a self-repeating and preserving signal. It isn't just a broadcast, but a kind of virus, one that attaches itself to wherever it lands. Okay, so I guess it will land, it's kind of like the ring. It'll head someone's communications and then, yeah. I'm going to take this energy tool. Gimme. But yeah, spread the message. I'm stuck on this planet. Help! Please help. Apparently there's a new Ring film coming out. Probably going to be garbage. I used to love The Ring. I originally found it by reading the books. But yeah, garbage. Okay, so there's a police segment. So, wow, Winnie really kind of did a lot here. Right, another password up here. Okay, so the cooling caves are now accessible because I have my energy tool, so hopefully I'll find a password down here. So these coils that disperse the heat from the comms equipment came down here. Okay, so that's a cool idea. The coils aren't functioning and are buried under rubble, so that's a pretty cool idea to kind of use the earth itself to cool down your heavy-duty equipment. William, there we go. That is the password. Is there anything else down here? So they continue the story. After their last conversation, Paula didn't see the dark for a long time. She didn't need to. Its wares haunted her every day, and as her food and water continued to deplete, she began to wish it would show up just for someone to talk to. I know you're there. You're with me everywhere now. Say something. But for weeks she received no answer. Finally, as Paula lay in her newest castle, her final home, she heard its voice again. So you've admitted it, have you? To yourself, I mean? You don't seem very happy about it. I mean, what happened to being smug? I don't feel like that. Things are too serious. You're starting to sound like me. At this, the dark offered a sad smile and sat down beside Paula. All they could hear was the wind outside and the creaking of the castle. That's because I am you, of course, you know that. And I'm afraid our time has run out. Paula sensed how cold the dark was, and she felt her strength drain away like a small stream. Sad, but I think that's the thing, is you sometimes learn how to deal with depression not by fighting it, but by learning to live with it and work with it. And in some ways it becomes an old friend. So the password is William. This room must be quite, what, you mean a mess? So there's a desk pulled up, lots of pages. So lots of stories in here. Quite the creative scientist. Okay, terminal. The terminal's in poor shape. It has been modified but vandalized for parts. I don't understand why someone would go to the trouble of setting up that terminal only to disable it. Maybe because she knew it was coming to an end? The chair is rusty and old by colony standards, and they're short novels. I imagine the view of the planet is quite spectacular. Ah, there's Winnie over there. So, a lot of books, and Get over there. No calling equipment. The radio has been configured from a variety of parts to pick up various signals. Let's check this before we say goodbye to Winnie. A few pills and a small portion of water. And there we go. We found Winnie Laurier. She died about a year ago in 2063. I'm just running this scan a few times to confirm the cause of death. It will take a moment. Probably starvation and the hunger. It's tough, but I'll be okay. Also, where was I in all of this, frankly? Oh, suicide. She was very malnourished at the time she decided to take her life. It doesn't seem like there was a lot of food stores here despite her efforts. She must have mixed several medications from emergency supply kits. She likely died in a state of sleep. It seems Miss Laurier met with a most tragic end. At least we were able to learn about Miss Laurier's transmission virus. There isn't anything more, so let's go back home. And goodbye, Winnie. Well, this is going to be difficult. She can't replicate. I need you to, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, what did I find? I found not a happy little story. You killed yourself. From what you described, it sounds like I was in a bad state. I guess I finally gave up. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that, you didn't really have any other alternative. I was so determined to survive, but I guess eventually that ran out. Wait a moment. The terminal array you said you found, that's perfect. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, that's what we can use to fix the ship. That's how we'll let you get your signal out after you take off. I can use the scan you made of the terminal array to come up with something similar for the escape ship. It's automatic, it's self-replicating, it's perfect. I knew there was another way. It's not about sending the strongest signal, it's about using other ships and relays to do the work for you. I don't know if I would have figured that out in here. I guess the other me, she was in a different position. She was desperate, hopeless. Even before, when Tower E was functioning, she must not have been able to stay there. Too dangerous, perhaps, not livable enough in that place. So she tried to replicate the signal array from the other tower, and knowing that she didn't have the same equipment, she created her idea of a virus. A brilliant mind, that, coming around with an out-of-the-box solution. I'll get working on it right away. But it's so tragic to have come across the idea this way. It must have been hard for you out there. It's pretty difficult for me to deal with this myself. Okay, well, from one depressing thing to another, should we talk about your stories? This story makes all the more sad. Regardless of what happened to the other Winnie, she seemed to suffer so much, and yeah, that makes me sad. It's almost like she knew what was coming, but kept on struggling anyway. What other option was there really? But this story, this must have been the only way to understand what she was going through. Now, I often find that writing things down is a way of processing things, especially when I'm depressed and things like that. So I get it. I absolutely get it. Sometimes you need to find ways to process things, and this is it. Oh, did I? No, I did find that. That was her stories, wasn't it? Let's talk. Okay, tell me a story. Let's hear about you as a kid. I was pretty shy as a kid as well. I'm guessing you had a castle. Because you mind palaced it. I think every little kid has done this as well, just enacted silly stories with all their toys. I certainly did. I had a whole story based around my teddy bears. She saw me playing like usual, and she noticed something funny. Why do you have only one person in each of the rooms? And I guess I said because they had a fight and don't know what to do. So I guess they saw that she was having difficulties from a young age. Let's talk about you, girl. What you found, I wouldn't and I couldn't do that, not now. You've been such an amazing friend in these past weeks, listening to me go on. Maybe that other version of me, she just needed someone like you. I'm glad. I'm sure of it. I don't know what she could have lost hope, I guess. I don't think she could have, if she'd known you. Well, this has all been a lot to take in, but at least I now know what I need to do so the AI can complete the work on the ship. In the meantime, I hope you'll find time to visit, before we have to go. I'll try. There's a lot going on. But I hope you're happy, Winnie, and you won in the end.